All right, today we're going to do something a little bit different. Today, I'm going to answer a question sent in by one of you, by one of my subscribers. His name is Rictor IAG. Rictor, I'm just going to call him Rictor, is a subscriber here on my channel. And of course, I subscribe to him. And he asked me a very interesting question. I'm going to read it to you now. Whoops, lost the comment. Here we go. Here's a question for you. This is what Rictor writes. He says, do you think, generally speaking, that a person who goes from zero to blue belt in Gracie Jiu-Jitsu has a better foundation from which to grow their game than a person who got a blue belt from a school that says, keep showing up and we'll let you know when you deserve a blue belt? That's an excellent freaking question, Rictor. And I'm going to do my best to answer it. And to answer it, I have to kind of tell you a story. I have to set it up a little bit because what I want to do is really analyze these two approaches, because now I have the good fortune and the blessed experience of having lived kind of both their lives. I know I'm just getting started with Gracie University. I've only been there for a few weeks. I think I've got 13 classes under my belt. And I did 3 years, 2.5, almost 3 years of the other guy. So I have a unique kind of a perspective that I hope helps me answer your question. And in order to answer this question, I have to set up a fight. I have to set up a little bit of a proverbial battle between two competitors. Me versus me. I'm wearing the shirt. Check it out. Mortal Kombat. If you remember this game, when you were playing Mortal Kombat, as you were progressing, trying to beat the game, you had to have what they called a mirror match. A mirror match was you versus yourself. You versus, if you're Sub-Zero, you had to fight the other Sub-Zero. If you're, Sonya, you got to fight another Sonya. And of course, the outfits were a different color, blah, blah, blah. You remember Streetfighter. Chun-Li had a blue dress and the red dress. If you're at the arcade, if you're awesome enough to have played Streetfighter or Mortal Kombat at the arcade, and somebody else came to play you or battle you and they used your same character, of course, they had to change of clothes. So we're going to set up a battle. A mirror match of me versus me. Over here, we've got Gracie Combatives, me. And over here, we've got Keep Showing Up, me. That's what we're going to call the competition fight school version of myself. And of course, I said it before, I said it again. I wish my Keep Showing Up school no harm. I love them. I try to avoid saying their name. I try to avoid saying anything negative about them. But I'm going to refer and tell a story and talk about some of the things I experienced over there. Not to hurt anyone, not to shame anyone, not to insult anyone. So if you guys have a problem with what I said, let me know. We can talk about it like gentlemen. But if you don't, fair enough. So here's how it went down. In order to answer your question, I have to compare my experience on the Keep Showing Up school to the Gracie University school. But to give it a fair comparison, we have to lay some ground rules. When I say ground rules, we need parameters. We need to understand exactly what the fight is set. More importantly, we have to understand when the fight is set. Because I think it's not just a question of which one is better. I think it's a matter of which one is better and when. And Chris Ledford and I, the owner of the Gracie University Laguna School, had this conversation about a week or two ago about how people progress. And so this is going to sound kind of familiar to Chris if he's watching. But when I first started, here's the story. When I first started at the Keep Showing Up School, Keep Showing Up Academy, I believe my first ever class was a private lesson. When I signed up with the type of membership that included a 30-minute private lesson every single week. You probably heard me talk about that before. So I do believe my first ever lesson was a private lesson where they could kind of see how you move and teach you break falls and some of the basics. That was great. It was excellent. But I remember being at my private lesson and asking my instructor, his name is Greg, you've heard me talk about him before, hey man, where can I get a list of the moves? I wanted the curriculum. Now, the Keep Showing Up School has a YouTube channel, and their YouTube content often talks about their curriculum and talk about it as one of the best curriculums, blah, 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 blah. So I wanted a copy of it. And he goes, well, ask Master Bob. I'm going to call him Bob. Ask Bob. I said, okay, I'll ask Bob. And of course, when I went to class, I met Bob for the first time, handshakes and hugs, everything's cool, super nice, super respectful, great experience. And after class, Bob says, let me know if there's anything I can help you with. And I said, you know what? I just want to get a look at the list of moves. I want to get a look at this curriculum. Now, see, back then I thought it was like Taekwondo, right? There's only so many kicks in Taekwondo. Hell, there's only so many punches in boxing. I wanted to know the moves that I needed to know in Jiu-Jitsu so I could learn Jiu-Jitsu so then I could spar with the moves. See, in Taekwondo, if you know all the kicks, then it's a matter of using those kicks in sparring. If you know all the punches in boxing, now it's a matter of setting traps, feints, counter-punching, whatever. It's not easy, but once you know the moves, you have a foundation from which to build from, and that's what I wanted. I wanted a foundation that I could build from. So Buckle your seatbelt. This is probably going to be a long video. We're already at 5 minutes and I'm just getting started. So I hope you like this. If you do, great. Put it on a freaking podcast. Put it on your headphones. Go wash the dishes. Walk the dog. Whatever you want to do. But here we go. After asking Master Bob for the list, he said, yeah, don't worry. I'll get you those moves. Now, I already told you the story of why I quit jiu-jitsu. There's a misunderstanding. I believe Master Bob was saying one thing. Other people said Master Bob was not saying that. Kablamo, right? But I remember this, and I'll never forget this because of what happened next. I said, Master Bob told you he's going to give me the list of the moves? Great. About a week later, I'm talking to my homeboy Greg. I said, hey, Greg, do you know when Master Bob's going to get me those list of moves? And he says, you know what you need to do? You need to go talk to business guy. I said, okay, business guy. Now, see, we had Greg, my private lesson instructor, who was a brown belt at the time, became a black belt a few weeks later. He was my private lesson guy. Of course, we had Master Bob at the top of the pyramid. But there was another guy, we'll just call him business guy. And business guy ran the business side of Keep Showing Up school, right? I said, okay, I'll ask business guy. So I reach out to business guy. Hey, man, when can I get a set of the moves, a list of the moves? And he goes, oh, if you want to access the curriculum, you need to sign up for our online university. Wait. I got to pay for the curriculum? Yeah. But isn't this the curriculum I'm learning over here at Keep Showing Up University? Yeah. But if you want to be able to watch the videos and you want to print out a list of the moves and you need to join the online academy. I said, okay, well, how much is that? It's like $40 at the time, something like that, $40. I said, okay. So I'm already paying you X amount of dollars for Keep Showing Up University. And now, if I want to access the list of moves and see the videos of Master Bob demonstrating the moves, it's going to cost me another $40 a month? Business guy says, sure will. I said, okay, that's not for me. Keep Showing Up University was not cheap. So I was like, I don't want to pay that much money. So about a month later, I'm going through all the private lessons, going through class, and I'm freaking lost. And I'm like, how am I going to figure this whole thing out? I guess I have to bite the bullet and sign up for Keep Showing Up online. All right? So that's what I did. I paid the $40. I joined Keep Showing Up online. I watched all the videos. I downloaded a list of all the moves. And it was a very long list. The white to blue belt curriculum was long, okay? I watched all the videos, or 70% of them, whatever. In that month or so that I paid for it, I watched all the videos and I saved the list of the moves. And what I did next is I took my list to my private lessons that Keep Showing Up University, right? And I talked to Greg and I said, hey man, can we do this? And we do it. Hey man, can we do this? And we do it. Hey man, can we do this? And we do it. So I was systematically going through my own curriculum, or their curriculum, but going through it at my own pace in my private lessons at Keep Showing Up University, okay? The reason why I was doing that is because I'm a linear thinking, analytically minded, progression driven kind of a dude. And so, when I first started at Keep Showing Up University, let's call it month number 1, versus where I'm at now at Gracie University. Let's pretend I had zero experience at Gracie University. Me at Keep Showing Up University would have wiped the floor with me at Gracie University. Because me at Gracie University with no experience rolling, no experience in any kind of, high stress, whatever you want to call it, I would get my butt kicked. Because me at Keep Showing Up University had already learned a couple of escapes. Me at Keep Showing Up University in class had already learned a couple of submissions. Now, I wasn't good at them. I struggled at them. I was bumbling. I was a bumbling idiot, basically. But I knew more than Gracie University me, because Gracie University me, let's say you go to 2 classes a week. After a month, you go to 8 classes. You maybe know the trap and roll, Americana. Maybe you know how to maintain mountain position. Maybe you know how to take the back. Maybe you work on the rear naked. Great knowledge, but you've never done it under stress. Me, with all my size and my weight and my strength and my whatever, with that limited experience that Keep Showing Up University, still would have put a hurting on me at Grace University at month number 1. That's month number 1. Now, let's fast forward to 3 months, right? 90 days. So 90 days into the journey, me at Keep Showing Up University, I'm going to the private lessons. I'm going to classes at least once, maybe twice a week if I'm lucky. So I'm doing, let's say, a private lesson and a class at Keep Showing Up University, and I'm doing 2 classes a week at Gracie University. Now at 90 days, it's a much better fight. It's a better fight because me, Keep Showing Up me, knows more escapes. Because we didn't really practice any submissions in our private lessons. It was all escapes. Me at Keep Showing Up University knows a lot of escapes. and maybe 1 or 2 submissions. Not good at it, but I've survived for 90 days with people who are better than me. I've had many more rolls compared to Gracie University's 0 rolls, and so me at Keep Showing Up probably still beats me at Gracie University. Gracie University me knows more, has more knowledge, understands the principles better, but me at Gracie University still doesn't know how to deal with pressure, still doesn't know how to deal with the speed or the pace or the intensity of a roll. So me at 3 months, Gracie University me definitely loses to Keep Showing Up University me. Now, Rictor, let's talk about 6 months. 6 months later, at twice a week, what is that? 6 months would be 24, so that's 48 lessons, okay? 48 classes of Gracie University. I've gone through the entire curriculum at least once. I've got takedowns. I've got escapes. I've drilled standing techniques. I've drilled a lot of different things. Mount escapes, punch, whatever, all that stuff. We've done all that stuff. 6 months Gracie University me versus 6 month Keep Showing Up University me is a close fight. And I'm going to tell you why. When I broke down the curriculum that I had saved from my 1 month of Keep Showing Up at University Online, we decided to go through certain things more than once. I don't want to tell the whole story because it'll give away too much about Keep Showing Up University, but there were certain escapes from each position that I needed to work on, and I decided with my private lesson instructor, Greg, that I wanted to work on one position a month. I said, hey, I want to work on all the escapes from this position month 1. And then month 2 was the next position, escapes. And then month 3, we did that for a year. Literally a year. We did escapes from these different positions every month for a year. So every time I saw Greg at my private lesson, we were still working on mountain escapes for a whole month. Then we worked on side control escapes for a whole month. Then we worked on seatbelt escapes for a whole month. That's how I designed it for myself at Keep Showing Up University because, again, analytical crazy guy, right? But at Gracie University, I've already seen the whole thing. After 6 months, I probably have a good understanding of Jiu-Jitsu as a whole. I probably have a good idea, or at least a basic understanding of how to get out of most of these positions. I still don't have the stress test. I haven't done it under stress, but I've learned the moves and I process the moves. So me at Keep Showing Up University is getting decent at certain escapes from certain positions, but I don't know any submissions, not very many at least. I don't know very many attacks, and Gracie University me is much more knowledgeable. Still, Gracie University me can't hold a candle to the intensity, the speed, and the pressure, and the connection of Keep Showing Up University me. So at 6 months, Keep Showing Up University me freaking wins. All right? Let's fast forward to a year. After a year, Gracie University me probably has his combatives belt. I think. How many times you got 80 classes twice a week? That's 40 weeks. Yeah, probably. Close. If not, I'm drilling and getting ready for the test. So at this point, I'm probably doing pretty well. I probably got 3 or 4 stripes. I probably know what I'm doing at the Gracie University. I feel pretty confident. Maybe I've taken the test. Maybe I'm about to take the test. Whatever. But at 1 year, Keep Showing Up me was still drilling escapes in private lessons. Keep Showing Up me was still drilling escapes in private lessons. And to be perfectly honest, Keep Showing Up to me was not going to class very often. After about 6 months at Keep Showing Up University, I got frustrated. I got frustrated because I was losing. I wasn't doing well. I didn't understand why I wasn't doing well. I was super frustrated, and so I was going to maybe 1 class a week. Sometimes I would just go to my private lesson. And yeah, I was tired, and yeah, I was in school, and yeah, I had a lot going on, and those are mostly excuses. They were excuses because I was frustrated and I didn't feel like I was making progress, and every time I would roll with somebody, I was getting beaten. I was very, very tired of being the nail. Very tired. So at a year, Gracie University me is probably in better shape. Gracie University is more confident. Gracie University me has a better idea and knowledge of all the different techniques and a system, a complete system of techniques versus Keep Showing Up University me, who's learned a couple of techniques here and there, probably didn't retain anything, probably didn't repeat very much, and Keep Showing Up me was still in the process of drilling escapes at every private lesson. Still no submissions. Keep Showing Up me still basically has an Americana, and that's about it. 18 months. Gracie University me beats the stuffing out of Keep Showing Up University me. Let me say that again. At 18 months, Gracie University me beats the living daylights out of Keep Showing Up University me. Keep Showing Up University me doesn't have a chance in hell against Gracie University me. And I'm going to tell you why. Because Gracie University me has a complete holistic picture of jiu-jitsu. Standing, mount, side control, submissions, escapes, reflex development, punch block, all these other things that we do. Gracie University me has a system of knowledge that he can rely on. And now that he has this wealth of knowledge, once you get past combatives and you get to master cycle, now, for the love of God and all things holy, Gracie University me has gotten the stress and the pressure and the speed and the intensity of Keep Showing Up University me to pair with and to partner with the knowledge. You see, Keep Showing Up me has always had the intensity, the speed, the pressure, the connection. Keep Showing Up University me has had that from day one. And that's important, don't get me wrong. That's why Keep Showing Up me has been undefeated up until this point. But after Keep Showing Up me has been getting stress tested, Keep Showing Up me lacks knowledge. Keep Showing Up me lacks an understanding. Keep Showing Up me lacks a system. Because Keep Showing Up University, Master Bob doesn't teach on the system. Master Bob teaches what Master Bob wants to teach. And when it comes to private lesson at Keep Showing Up University, Greg and the powers that be, business guy, wouldn't teach me any submissions. I was just supposed to work on escapes and defense. And by the time I got to 18 months, I was still working on escapes and defense. It wasn't until after 18 months that we started talking about some submissions, some attacks. And of course, we got some submissions in class, but a lot of times it was things I didn't know, or I couldn't apply, leg locks and things that I had no idea. And so at 18 months, Gracie University me beats the stuffing out of Keep Showing Up University me, because Keep Showing Up University me is tough. He's durable, he's strong, he's fast, he's intense, but he has maybe 1 or 2 submissions and a couple of escapes. 2 years, it's even worse. At 2 years, Gracie University me is a blue belt. Easily. Probably got a stripe. Maybe, I don't know how the master cycle works completely. And over here at Keep Showing Up University, at 2 years, I was still a white belt. I was still drilling escapes. I was working on more submissions. I was working on a head and arm. We were doing a lot of smother taps, that sort of thing. Using my weight, using pressure, using my size. But I wanted to learn everything. I didn't want to learn a game that worked for my size and that worked just for me. I wanted to learn jiu-jitsu. And so I was in Keep Showing Up University. And I will never forget this as long as I live, because it really hurt my feelings. I was in class with Master Bob and Greg and everybody, and I was rolling with another guy, and they're kind of watching. And I get on top, and I'm cooking. We used to call it cooking. If you get on top of somebody, you don't really have to do anything. You can just kind of wait them out. And as a bigger guy, I'm on top of this other guy, and I'm cooking it, right? He's just there. And so Master Bob is like, yeah, just cook him. Eventually he'll roll to his side and give you his back, or you can, choke him, whatever. Okay, so I'm cooking it. I get that, right? No, we can wait. I don't know. There's probably one of the 32 principles, right? The patience principle or something, that I could just wait for the guy. This is crazy, but it's real. I went for a submission. I was cooking him. And then I said, okay, I'm going to get this. And I went for it, and he escaped. And so then afterward, Master Bob was like, you should have just kept cooking him. You got him eventually. He'd have worn out easily. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah, just keep cooking him, and he'd have given up eventually, and he'd have tapped probably from pressure. You could have smothered him or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but I wanted to win. I wanted to get him with something. And he's like, why? This is a no. He called it a no skill submission. It's a no skill submission. Just do the no skill submission. And that really bothered me, because I don't want to feel like I don't have any skill. After 2 freaking years of training, let's say, it was probably 2 years, I don't want to do no skill submissions. I should have some skill after 2 years. I remember thinking, you know what, man? I don't want to be a no skill guy. I want to be a skilled guy. And so, Rictor, to answer your question, it depends on when they fight. If you have a white belt who goes from 0 to blue belt at Gracie University versus the white belt who goes from white belt to blue belt at Keep Showing Up University, who's going to win? It's going to be like this. 3 months, keep showing up. 6 months, keep showing up. 12 months, keep showing up. 18 months is getting close, keep showing up. Gracie. Because Gracies are learning like this. Keep showing up is like this. It's like, you know what? Let me fix that. Let me redo that. Gracies are learning like this. A steady trajectory. Right? Keep showing up was more like this. I learned a lot in the beginning, and it flattened out. Gracie was like, oh, I'm learning a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little more, a little more. And then the Gracie one just keeps going. Keep showing up. Maybe we have bumps every once in a while. There's some great understanding. Maybe you do a tournament. Maybe somebody comes to visit. Maybe you go to a seminar. Maybe you hit an open mat, whatever. Something clicks. I don't know. But for me, Gracie wins after about 18 months. So the question is, how long are you going to last? How long are you going to stick with it? Because if you, like most white belts, quit in 6 months, then Keep Showing Up University was not for you. If you keep going, Gracie University is for you. And that brings us to the second part of Rictor's question. Give me a second while I look this up. The second part of Rictor's question says this. Do you think that the same demographics, Keep Showing Up University versus Gracie University, get different or wider demographics because of their teaching style? Do they get different students? Yes. Yes. Keep Showing Up University is different than Gracie University in terms of the people who go there. The reason why is because those guys that Keep Showing Up University are in it for the fight. I'm going to be honest. I hope I don't insult anybody. I hope I don't upset anybody. Send me a message in the comments. I'll take the stinking video down. But when I joined Keep Showing Up University, I wanted to feel like a badass. I wanted to feel tough. I wanted to feel like a warrior. The instructor, Master Bob, he's a legend. He's a legend in the sport, in the style. He's a legend. And I wanted to learn from a legend. And I thought, if I can survive here, if I can glean this knowledge, I will be a badass. I will be the real deal Holyfield. Because nobody can take anything away from me. And I looked at Gracie University like, these nerds are learning online, and they got a lift, they show up and they don't even roll. I'm going to go do the tough guy thing. I'm going to do the badass warrior thing. It was like the Marines. It was like the Marines versus the Air Force. Coming from an Army guy, that's weird, I know. But when I got out of the Army, and I wanted to get back in the military, I wanted to join the Marine Corps. I ended up doing some work for the Marine Corps. That's another story for another time. But the Marines are amazing because they're the few and they're the proud. And it's got the highest standards and the toughest regulations physically. The toughest regulations physically. They got the longest run. They got the pull-ups instead of push-ups. Everything about the Marine Corps is considerably harder than every other branch in the military as far as your basic training. Okay? The Air Force has the lowest requirement, physical fitness requirement, the lowest physicality, and their boot camp is shorter. For example, Marine Corps boot camp is 3 months last time I checked. Air Force boot camp was like 7 weeks back in the day. I think it's 8 weeks now. Maybe it's 9. So 3 months versus 8 weeks. Okay. I think the Air Force has to run a mile. Marine Corps ran 3 miles. Air Force had to do like 20 push-ups. Marine Corps had to do like 3 pull-ups, right? It's crazy the way the standard was set up. So the Marine Corps were the few, the proud, the badass. Air Force was few and proud as well because you had to have certain mental standards to get into the Air Force. Your ASVAB score had to be higher, okay? But your physicality didn't have to be as high. You didn't have to be a warrior or a badass to get into the Air Force or to graduate Air Force boot camp. Whereas Marine Corps, you kind of had to be a warrior and a badass to get to Marine Corps boot camp. It was tougher. Mentally, physically, emotionally, it was tougher. And so, at least from what I've heard, Army boot camp, we won't even talk about that. But I kind of see it that way. Marine Corps is like the Keep Showing Up University. You got to be a badass. You got to be putting in the work. You got to be willing to go through hell. And if and when you pass the test, you're going to feel like the man. You're going to feel like King Ding-a-ling. I did the darn thing. You go to the Air Force. Yes, you're in the military. Yes, we're proud of you. Yes, you're serving your country. But nobody looks at an Air Force graduate and goes, that guy's a badass. Nobody does. Now, there are some badasses there. Look up the PJs, okay? Look at those guys. Those guys are badasses, all right? There's some Special Forces, Air Force mofos that'll eat your lunch, okay? But that's not what we mostly think about when we think of the Air Force. We think about badasses when we think about the Marines. We think about nerds when we think about the Air Force. There are some badasses in the Air Force, and there are some nerds in the Marines. It happens. It's possible. But the idea, the concept, the mental... the assumption is hardcore badass, nerd. That's why they call it the chair force. You sit at the desk all day. Marines, first to fight, tip of the spear, right? Chair force. So why am I bringing that up right now? Because it takes a certain kind of mofo to join the Marine Corps. I always tell my students, and I told my kids when I was a youth pastor, if you want to join the military, there's only 2 branches. There's the Marine Corps and there's the Air Force. The reason why is Marine Corps, you join the Marine Corps if you got something to prove. You got something to prove to yourself or to somebody else, you join the Marine Corps. If you want the benefits of the military, you want the college money, you want the whatever, you join the Air Force. The reason why I said that without getting into my whole military story is the Army treated me like a number. The Army was like, yep, you're just 37654 321 guy. Maybe I've heard the same thing about the Navy. The Marine Corps was like, if you have the balls, if you have the testicular fortitude to sign up and say you want to earn the Eagle, Globe, and Anchor, if you're willing to say you want to be that kind of a badass, we will work with you. And we love you, and we represent you, and you're one of us for life. Once a Marine, always a Marine. Air Force, same thing. If you think you can cut it here, let's see those scores. Let's see how you do. Can you make it? Army's like, are you breathing? Navy's like, do you have a pulse? Right? So that's kind of how I look at it. I think if you can survive Keep Showing Up University, if you can withstand it to the point where you actually get promoted and you get to blue belt, you'll be a badass. You'll feel like $1 million. But will you get there? I was at Keep Showing Up University damn near 3 years. And the time that I was at Keep Showing Up University for 3 years, I saw one guy get promoted from brown to black. That was my instructor, Greg. I saw one guy go from blue to purple. And I saw 3 guys go from white to blue. In 3 years. In 3 years, I saw 5 promotions. And Master Bob got a stripe. I see a lot more people getting combative belts and blue belts at Gracie University. I think the progression, I think the linear nature of the course makes more sense to most people. I think that the candy, the reward of ding, 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 ding. Every time you go to class, you check a box on your card. It's a natural dopamine hit, okay? If you understand how the brain works and how we learn and the reward system, it's a natural dopamine hit. It's like, ooh, I came and boom, I got a check mark. I came and boom, I got a check mark. I came and boom, I got a check mark. Ooh, only 9 more classes until I can take my test, right? It's that thing where it's keep showing up. It's like, keep showing up. If you can cut it, can you earn it? Do you have what it takes? But at the same time, you're like, what does it take? What do I need to know? What can I learn? Oh, I got to pay more for the curriculum? Cool. I got to pay for private lessons? Okay, cool. And when can I learn this stuff? Oh, I can't learn it yet? Okay, cool. What do I do now? And God forbid you ask. God forbid you ask, hey, what do I need to know to get to the next level? How far away am I from my promotion? Hey, I might want to teach this stuff. Hey, I might want to compete, whatever. It's like, it's just strange, man. And I love those guys because a lot of those guys are super cool. And of course, they are geniuses in their own right. But damn it, I'd rather check the box. At this point, I'd rather have a linear, clear path of progression. I'd rather have clear criteria that lets me know where I stand. And even though I might not feel as cool in my Air Force uniform as I would in my Marine Corps uniform, we're still in the armed forces. We're all part of the same team. We're all still doing Jiu-Jitsu. So, yes, Keep Showing Up University attracts a tougher, probably younger, probably fitter, probably more intense individual. Gracie University attracts an older, probably more successful financially, probably more educated because they see the value in the linear progression. And I'm okay with that. Like, it's not an insult to call me older. I'm 46 in a couple of days. It's not an insult to call me successful. Ka-ching. It's not an insult to say that I'm smart. I'll take that too. I won't lie though. There is a part of me that feels like I wish I could have gotten the badass uniform from Master Bob and Keep Showing Up University, because there's a certain pride that goes on with that. But at what cost? At the cost of your wallet, high cost. At the cost of your body, maybe you get injured. At the cost of your pride, because now you got to bow at the feet of the master, right? It doesn't feel like a team always over there. It's, at least it didn't to me. It always felt like there was a distinct hierarchy and they would give you unsolicited advice and, while charging you for the curriculum. So this has gone long enough. If you're still listening to this, you're the man. If you're still here at 30 minutes, damn, I don't know why I did this for so long, but damn it, Rictor, you asked, and here you go. So maybe you turned on the podcast and you went for a walk with the dog, or you hit the treadmill, or whatever you did. If you're still listening to this, put a salute emoji in the comments. Put the little salute emoji in the comments. If you don't know how to find it, just go to your emoji and type in salute, and you'll see the little guy who's doing the salute. If you're still listening to this, because somehow this evolved into an armed forces analogy, put a salute. I thought it was going to be mirror match Mortal Kombat. It turned into Army versus Air Force. But put a salute emoji in the comments, so I know you made it all the way to the end. You're a real one. If you put salute emoji in the comments, I'll subscribe to your channel. I will follow you back just to say thank you for riding with me like this. And I hope that wasn't too long, too boring, too intense. And I hope I answered your question, Rictor. Remember when you said it? I said I gotta really think about this, and maybe I'll record a video. Ta-da! Here it is, man. So thank you, Rictor, for making me think and giving me something to talk about. Thank you for distracting me from what's going on in the world outside there with these fires and all this crazy carnage. And if you have any questions, put them down in the comments, or you can hit me up on social media at Chris Learns Jiu-Jitsu. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and thank you for being along with me on this journey from white belt to combatives belt to blue belt and beyond. Stay positive, stay focused, stay vigilant. Take care.